Welcome to Sustainable Packaging with Corey Connors. Today's guest is my longtime friend, Mr. Ed Dominion, the CEO and president and founder of D6. How are you, Ed?
Hey, I'm good. Good to see you, Corey.
Good to see you. Thank you so much for making time. I know how busy you are. I'm excited to go over some of your background. We've known each other for, I don't know, 15 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And I met you when you occupied a very small space with dozens of 3D printers in Portland, Oregon. And I think you had the most 3D printers in the country at the time, way ahead of the game.
Yeah.
But can you tell us about your background a little bit before we go into the rest?
Yeah. Grew up on a farm in Benton Harbor, St. Joe, Michigan, and 6 or 7 kids, big family. And ultimately, just did the farm hustle, selling produce roadside, and just got to make that cheddar.
Yeah.
So ultimately left the family business when I was 18 to go out to Portland State and just wanted to do my own thing. So left home, 2 duffel bags, $2,000, the 2 and 2, as I call it. And started in value-added processing, the cut, slice, diced in 1999. So now a lot of the convenience items that we take for granted now that are at our fingertips, but focus primarily with Fred Meyers and groups like that, QFC, and really helped them build out their programs with 2 other partners, Mary Ipolani, Robert Ipolani, and then Pacific Coast. Really had a knack for math and reverse engineering cut sizes and margin sizes to put the plastic around it. And ultimately graduated college, worked every day except for Tuesday and Thursday. I went to school Tuesdays and Thursdays, put myself through college, and then ultimately became a director when I was 24 at the company and just helped them scale. So it was really a fun experience. And then was back for a meeting at Kroger that changed the trajectory of my life. Didn't even know I liked plastics, just was in a room at a very high profile retailer, and all the big packaging companies were coming through and didn't understand like fill size to liquid volume. So knew the math of the process, cut, slice, diced, and adding certain configurations to get a better retail and giving the consumers what they're asking for. And was talking with these plastics companies, and nobody really understood, like, well, if I create this tool, it's $30,000, $100,000, $200,000, but I could create a $20, $50, $60 million category for the retailer. And there's this disconnect between building tools, taking new items out, and the risk that the market wouldn't take. So, kind of long story short, top brass of all in the plastic industry, and everybody looked at me like I had 12 heads. Because I'm like, you need this amount of broccoli, this amount of ranch, blah, blah, blah. And one little company came to me on a side note called Chicago Metallic in Lake Zurich, Illinois. And long story short, I went out there to completely just visit one of my sisters and get a free trip and dinner out of it. And they said, you're not leaving this company unless you're working with us. And we made a very, very good deal together, and ultimately started in packaging with plastics with zero experience besides filling them. And ultimately that company was built and sold, and now it's part of D&W Fine Pack. And then, yeah. So when our equity groups came in about 2000 and let's call it 2011, just realized we had different visions for what our companies needed to be and what our customers wanted. So ultimately I had a few people come to me and literally said, I hate your company. I love working with you. I said, I hate my company. I work with you. And they said,
what an honor. What a respectful statement. I love that.
Yeah. So D6 was born out of necessity, and our path, very humble roots in 2014 to now touching 15 to 16% of the world and converting predominantly over, I think, 81% of our materials are from diverted waste. So
incredible.
Everybody laughed and said it couldn't be done. And our humble roots as a rapid prototyping 3D printing company, and then scaling and having phenomenal OEMs that believed in us, customers that believed in us, who we're forever grateful for. And just built this out of duct tape, bubble gum, and $2 million. But it's been an incredible ride.
I've been honored to watch you just take risks and succeed, and occasionally pivot as needed. It's been so much fun to see someone who I'm rooting for succeed to an exponential level, and I'm excited to see what D6 does in the future, and more importantly what you do in the future, because I think it's going to be even bigger than you even thought it was.
Yeah, it's all been bigger, but I'd love to take credit. We've got people that bleed and love this company, and I'm forever grateful because we're actually creating change, right?
Yep.
We're not marketing change, we're creating change domestically. And some of our recycling efforts that we're doing are just, and our partners that work with us, we're forever grateful because it was a true leap of faith. And recycling is littered with bankruptcy. Carbon Light with the nearest bankruptcy. Our stance and our position around recycling is absolutely sustainable. It's absolutely doable. The problem is the system of days of old is kind of VHS, and we're iTunes. So we're building for the future, not copying the past, because that's what a lot of people have done. So we tinker, we create. And that's what's needed in this market, because nothing exists to actually go 100% tray to tray. And we are on the cutting edge of doing that for our company and for our customers and for society.
Well, and not to mention that last year you were the CEO of the year. So congratulations on that honor. When I saw your post, I was like, this is my buddy Ed. I can't believe it. He's crushing it. So kudos to you, sir. And your team is incredible. I can speak to that personally because I've worked with some of them, and all of them top tier people and some of the hardest working folks I've ever met in the packaging industry. But let's talk about your new announcement that you just made the other day about your new recycling system down in Texas.
Yeah, so the joy of this is it's the first of its kind in the world. And the stance that we're taking right now is, at state and federal, there's some real big initiatives that need to be taking place that are just absolutely above my pay grade and what our company is capable of. But we can team up and join with members to bring recycling to a profitable and sustainable future. What we are doing with our partners from our retail and other brands, there's brands we can throw out there and we can't. Otherwise, check out the article El Paso and go on the breadth of that. But kiosks have been set up at retail locations. The waste is brought. They scan an app, they count the amount of plastics. We're paying 10 cents a unit, depending on the items.
Wow.
And we're Venmoing the money to either their accounts through a third-party app. And we're monetizing our own waste stream to put a pure one invoice forward, one invoice back closed loop. And we're doing it with multiple partnerships and the first of its kind. So, a lot of people know beverage containers can be recycled. Thermoforms are really ignored because there's no way to monetize it in the system. And this is our third program that we're doing. One has already been in market, and I'd love that brand to step up so we could talk with them and bring light of what they're doing at the stores. That's their news to break, but we're a processor of it. And we actually have a MRF up in the Pacific Northwest, Far West Recycling, where we are processing. We are the largest by far processor of thermoforms in the Pacific Northwest, but we're going to start putting some marketing and branding on it. But, these efforts, in Portland, in California, in Illinois, in El Paso, we're putting a network together with our partners that's viable. And it's there. It's just, like I said, a lot of our competitors have bet on the past around extrusion technologies, and we're making advancements in extrusion and sorting with us and our partners to focus on thermoform clean wash flake to become hopefully carbon negative by 2025 to 2030, which will be the first of its kind of any packaging plastics company in the world. And we're striving every day to hit that goal.
Incredible. I fend off people daily, I would say, that are talking about how plastic is bad and plastic isn't recycled and it isn't recyclable. And I'm constantly talking about your efforts and Trex and companies that are doing great things in the world of sustainable packaging and specific with plastic. So is this scalable? Is this something that you could take from Texas and have a program in each state? Is that feasible, do you think?
We're already doing that.
Yeah.
It's there, it's doable. Yeah. It's just, unfortunately, for a lot of the traditional thermoformers that we all know, they're not betting on this stream, which, choices are choices, and understand. I mean, still helping with recycling. We're converting beverage containers. We've done that for a while. We're trying to evolve, or we are evolving to go tray to tray. I've never made a beverage container in my life. I've made a lot of trays. So we're helping create a market. We're helping support a market in good times and in bad. And that's what's really important for recycling, is the partners that you're dealing with. In good times and bad, you have to support recycling, because if it collapses within 30 days if you don't support it. So it's very important to know that we have contracts in place where very, very big contract company because we're betting so much on this,
Right.
and you have to be all in. We always say you can't swim with half your body in the pool. You're either in or you're. And those are the customers we want, and the ones that are doing that are seeing massive benefits from consumer level, and we're just doing the right thing. So it's scalable, it's doable, and our vision and goal is to not abandon this, but just to enhance it and build up the infrastructure that does not exist for the future rather than the past.
Incredible. So you'll need, and I want to reiterate that this will all stay in North America.
Yeah, and the great thing about it is we do have an international recycling footprint, which is phenomenal. And that's the great thing about dealing with D6. We're not just domestic, because that's the thing, is not everything is made in the United States food-wise.
Right.
A lot of people don't understand how much seafood and other things come offshore. So we're working with those partners to recycle in the countries that the products are packed and made and then shipped over here, to then be able to be recaptured in our stream, to put it back through and loop it in product in North America, and capturing the stuff from North America. So,
Wow.
That vision and goal has to have a global representation. And we're just thinking through the problem differently than what most people are looking at. We're seeing people retract from international. We're expanding internationally because, unfortunately, food comes from all over the world, so we have to support it, but we can still recycle it domestically. And that's where a lot of people are going offshore to get their recycled content. We're doing it in North America with domestic waste. Otherwise, if you don't recycle here, what's the point of recycling 90% of your products when only 4% is packed offshore?
Yeah.
And you're not supporting the recycling stream here. It doesn't, 1 + 1 = Kentucky. It just doesn't add up.
That's accurate. I know that for sure.
Domestic recycled rPET and domestic recycled TCWF, coin term for thermoform clean wash flake.
And I think that's important to mention, that TCWF, because food packaging needs to be cleaned after it's touched the hands of a consumer.
Yeah. It's a filthy stream to go through. It's one of those things that to come down and see a bale from one of our MRFs, the filth that's on it, to get it to food grade is a very technical process. And then to see it come off and have, high IV, it's incredible. So it's the technology is there. It's just, do you want to buy an extruder for $1.1 million to $2 million? Or do you want to put a full recycling line at $11 million to $12 million before you ship it? So
before you ship it. Wow.
Before you ship it, not infrastructure, not power. And that's the deal, is that's why we will not deal in non-sustainable products. So PET, polypropylene, aluminum, we don't get enough credit for our aluminum business that we do.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. We have a whole aluminum division that processes, beverage containers, cans, and we make recycled bakery products for the Danish and sweetbread markets.
That's incredible. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it then goes into 100% to 80 to 90%, rPET recycled material to go through a freezer space, the first of its kind in the world. So we're really blending those two together. Aluminum is actually a phenomenal material to work with and highly recyclable, but it's just cost-wise, it can be a little difficult.
And aluminum gets a lot of credit as the most recycled material in the packaging space. And I think that's just because of these bottle deposit systems and things like that. Would you agree that helps?
Absolutely. And it can be magnetized. So when you're pulling through a waste stream,
right
through, and to talk on this, composting and what's compostable and what's not, and then there's a lot of things going on in fiber with PFASs, and these are forever chemicals. So we hear a lot of people claiming that their fiber does not have these products in it, but if it can repel water, oils, or sauces, it's got a low level of PFASs in it. And that's a really harmful chemical. And more people need to be educated on it. So, hope, folks do their due diligence and understand that when this stuff seeps into waste streams, it never goes away. And when it enters your body, it never goes away. So it's like acid pain in a sense. So it's important just to know what you're dealing with. So, we're trying to operate in materials that are recyclable on scale, available on scale, and then don't leach into liquids and or waterways, which is a big deal.
Well, you're doing amazing things. It's exciting to be a part of this announcement, and thank you for coming on the show to tell the audience about it. What's next? We got states here. We got Oregon in process. Is that coming on? Is that
Oregon? We've been operating for over a year in, so
Yeah.
this is like debut to say a little bit around this, and love to put a joint one together with our retailers.
Yeah.
Was working with processing materials through Ridwell as well.
Oh, yeah.
Big fans of what they're doing and what they're trying to achieve, and so it's a unique space. Everybody's trying to figure it out, but collect the waste, we'll buy the waste, we'll use the waste. Just let's do the right thing and not burn or bury it. And that's our thesis. This whole matter is reuse what we have rather than create it from a virgin state.
Ridwell was on the show, and I actually got to visit them, their facility. Taylor, who runs the Portland facility, is an amazing person. To explain it to the audience who hasn't heard of Ridwell, they actually will pick up PET and batteries and light bulbs and the waste stream that your local curbside recycler won't take. And they recycle it here domestically as well, which is so exciting. Door-to-door service. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. So another little tidbit of information.
Yeah.
We physically started in that same business park, just 2 doors down. So that little business park there is kicking out some hella good recycling company. But our very humble roots of our 750 square feet, starting in 2014. It's come a long way, but rooting for them. Anybody who's recycling, who's helping with this, beverage, I don't mean to just, go one direction on this, but, recycling is good as a whole. We want to get more of it. It's just, we want to return it from the state that it came to rather than beverage to tray.
Yeah. Had a great interview with the Association for Oregon Recyclers, and they were talking about how successful our bottle drop system has been. And we were the true pioneer back in 1971, the first state here in Oregon. So I think this is where it should start. And I'm excited that you went to Portland State like me and are doing amazing things in the world of recycling.
Yeah, and the next one to come up too is down in California, the Senate bill that just passed down there. Yep. I mean, that is mental in the sense of how they're going to measure, how they're going to report, and can't wait to see how more evolves with that bill. But it's going to change a lot of things. So it's exciting to see it in Oregon, Washington. We're picking up traction in Texas. So a lot of people are paying attention to this, and just excited to get more content through the system.
You just opened a new facility in Texas, or you're expanding your new facility in Texas. Is that correct?
We now have 6 locations.
Jeez.
We're very private, so it's fun to talk about now. We got some more major news coming up, but we had a phenomenal opportunity to meet with the Texas Enterprise Fund. We were looking to put a very large recycling facility, which we're going to be expanding into and doing, and we're already started it. And Texas really embraced and gave us some offers that were just well above and beyond what we were seeing in market. So we're now headquarters in Sulphur Springs, Texas, and getting ready for a $27+ million expansion on 36 acres down there. The largest that we are aware of, largest tray-to-tray recycling facility in the world, with capacity reaching a phenomenal number coming up here in the next 2.5 years. So it's a big build. We're very excited, but like I said, we got to build the future. We can't copy the past, and unfortunately, it's new concrete, it's new everything, it's new equipment, and a tinkering attitude to sort, because it's a really, I always invite everybody and encourage everybody to go to a recycler. It's humbling, it's dirty, it's hard, and it's not easy. So we have a tremendous amount of respect for the folks that are doing this, and just want to help amplify.
Well, let's do the next episode down in Texas. We'll do it live in person, show off some of this new equipment.
We'll have some more news coming up by then, but I guarantee you ain't never seen anything like this, man. And we're keeping it really private. Only about 4 partners have really seen the full breadth of what this thing can create and or do. And it's the single largest bet I've ever made in my life. I have fingers crossed, eyes crossed. We like our odds.
Well, I see great things for you, sir, and I'm excited to be a very, very tiny part of this, and we'll spread the word about what you're doing and help you along the way in our ways. So thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I love your leap of faith as well in the
Yeah.
podcast. I remember when you first told me about it, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I can see this, but it's those things that evolved, and then, you're snowballing, and congrats with that, because it's at times, right? It's like, why am I doing this? It could be so much easier doing this, the pre-planning on it. So congrats, and
Thank
I
you.
wish you continued success and holding that moral compass of what true sustainability is.
You, if I recall, you referred to me as the Paris Hilton of sustainable packaging, and I will take that honor.
Go ahead.
She's an amazing person. If you've ever researched her, she's incredible.
I can't take credit for that line, but I do like the analogy. Same time, man, just keep it up, and that's where the compass can't go any way but true north. Like,
Yep.
And that's the exciting thing with this is now with the SEC getting involved around reportable numbers. It's very important that people take this serious and they actually have some governance around this, because it's a slippery slope when you can start marketing things the wrong way.
Well said, and so true with the advent of extended producer responsibility, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 reporting. These things are going to be by law, and people are going to be rushing to make serious changes quickly. I highly recommend, along with Ed, that you do the jump now and start this process today and get into fully recyclable materials as soon as possible. Yeah. Thank you again, Ed. I appreciate you as a friend and as a partner. Thank you, Landsberg Aurora, for sponsoring this podcast. We truly appreciate you. If you're listening, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, and more to come about D6. Thank you, Ed.
All right, take care. Thanks, Craig.